Good morning. Hi, guys. Um, Good morning, good morning, good morning. Um, so I was wondering, or contemplating, I don't know. I don't want to say I was thinking, but I guess I was thinking, and what is it? What is it that keeps us going back to our mind? What is it that keeps us going back to our mind? Let's just, it's a kind of a, for some, it may be a bit of a reach because the idea that we're separate or we can be separate from the mind, or that we literally are, that our mind is a tool, mind is a, really works for us, brings up the question, who is it that the mind's working for? And we'll go there in a second. We'll go there in a second, but I just want to talk about for a minute. And this is not for everybody. You know, if your life is, you know, just amazing and you're living in bliss and all things are great and there's no stress and there's no trouble and there's no, you know, then this is not for you. This is. I'm only really here to address folks that are in some way looking for an answer to, you know, the question of what's going on here and why am I, you know, stressed, or why am I sad, or why am I depressed, or why am I, you know, why do I feel like life is not satisfying me? Those are the folks that I'm addressing, and so if life is just like wow, all peaches and cream and roses for you, you know, this isn't for you. This is for the rest of us that are like, what the fuck is going on? And so I just want to point to what we often do. You know, for the addict or the alcoholic, when life falls apart, and he's, you know, gets to a place, he or she gets to a place where she says, I'll do anything. I'll do anything to get my life back. I'll do anything. And I've heard it, I was going to say dozens of times, but I've heard it hundreds of times, where we've said, I'll do anything. And then we say, well, okay, your thinking is screwed up. And so we're going to look in that area, you know, with the tools you have, the mind and the thoughts and the conditioning, you cannot manage your own life. Oh, well, I don't want to change that. I'm not prepared to let go of that. And so what is it? Is it fear? You know, I mean, we recognize that mind has, you know, our thoughts, our beliefs, our conditioning, our concepts that have let us down so badly, like unbelievably, like we've that we see that, oh my God, you know, I've got to change. Something has to change, and so the process of change, you know, some of us think, well, if I go to a therapist for a long time, I can maybe make this mind work better for me. Again, we'll get to who the me is that it needs to work better for. But we know in conceptually that the mind is separate. We're like, okay, I see that, you know, I'm not my mind. But is it fear that won't let us, you know, surrender? Is it fear? Is it delusion? Now, fear we can recognize. Most of us understand that fear is often the fear of the unknown. We're like, well, if I let go of my mind, well, who will I be? And no, I can't do that. I'd rather stick with what I know. which is, even if it's not working very well, it's always getting me in trouble, and at least I know it. So, and often, that's fear. That's like, no way. I'm not turning my will and my life over to something other than my crazy mind. So, that's fear. And then there's delusion. Sometimes we're like, well, no, it's going to get better. We're deluded. We're like, no, my mind does have a plan for me. I just have to focus more. And we're like, I know that we can shape up. We're going to shape up. We're going to get better. It's going to be better. I'm going to do affirmations, and I'm going to meditate, and my mind will become the sharp, tool that it's supposed to be, and it'll give me the life that I know I deserve. So that's called delusion. Or maybe it's just confusion. We're just freaking confused. We're like, we can't hold the thought that, or let go of the idea that we can manage our own life. We're just confused, and we get up every day, and the fog hasn't lifted, and so we're living in confusion. So it's confusion, delusion, or fear that wants us to hold on to what hasn't worked. What hasn't worked. It's crazy. Almost everything else in life, pretty much everything else in life, we'll let go of if it's not working, right? If we're in a relationship with somebody who's abusive and angry, and tells us that we're not good enough, and tells us it'll never work, and like sometimes our mind does. If we were in a relationship with somebody like that, well, we would move on. We would say, enough of that. But no, not with the mind. So this is the dilemma. We're holding on often out of fear or out of desire. Desire tells us that if we surrender the mind, and I remember this one. This is so clear for me early in my sobriety that I had, a fantasy about. For me, one of my big fantasies as a young man, as in my 20s, was, that I would be a player, like a kind of a ladies' man, and I was afraid if I really surrendered in step 3 and I really did the program that I wouldn't be able to do that. And I remember finally I took it to my sponsor. I said, well, this is this thing that I don't want to give up this. And he laughed, He said, well, I was married at the time. He said, aren't you married? And I said, well, yes. And he said, do you have like a girlfriend? And at that time I didn't. And he said, is there anybody kind of like in the wings, or that? And I said, well, no. And he said, well, I don't think we have to worry about it. Like, it was a delusion. I was deluded. I was, I had this idea that, was built out of it came out of this idea of who I was as a man, as a young man in my 20s, and so I was holding on to this, and there was no way I wanted to live a God-centered life, because I was afraid I would lose that, and so whatever it is that you look and see what it is you're holding on to that says, no, I do not want to surrender, because that's all that there is. That what happens in this awakening is that we let go of all the things we're holding on to, and we naturally go to our natural state. Some awareness is necessary, because as we move into higher vibration, most of us won't even have a language to be able to discuss it. And so I'm grateful for me, of the years and the books and the study that I've done. You know, Dr. Hawkins brought a lot of stuff into focus for me, so that when the freedoms came in, it was like, oh, I recognized, but you can be free. And in the 12-step program, you know, it says happy, joyous, and free. What is it talking about? Happy, joyous, and free. You know, so if you're living in stress, if you're feeling depressed, if you're in fear, that's not happy, joyous, and free. So what we're doing is we're holding on to our old operating system. Imagine. Isn't that a good analogy? You know, with the old operating system, we can't operate from a higher place. We can't be in compassion. We can't be in love. We can't be free. Because we're like, no way, I'm not letting go of this old operating system. And because there's some promise made that, you know, and so out of either desire, confusion, delusion, or fear, we're holding on to our old ways. And we get killed. We die. I had a friend this morning, went to pick up a friend who's in the throes of the disease of alcoholism. You know, just, it's not a pretty thing. And fear, you know, had this man hiding behind a couch in his own house, you know, just afraid to take that next step of surrender. And it's like, it can be sad. I mean, that's the desperate side of it. But on a day-to-day basis, you know, we get hooked into our ideas and we stick with them. You know, people did me wrong. I'm a victim. Many of us are holding on to an old victim story. We love our stories, you know, or an old I'm not good enough story, you know, and none of it's true. None of it's true. And so how do we get to this awakening? I think that, you know, my experience is to I pray a lot. I've prayed so many. Prayer brings us into the moment. So it's not just like we're praying to something outside of us to help us wake up. Prayer actually brings us into the moment. And is there, I don't know all of this things about the spiritual realm. I really don't know. I do know that prayer seems to be answered. So whether it works because we have a creative ability, you know, we are one with this universe. We are one with this universe. So we have access to the creativeness of this universe. So prayer does work. So ask to be shown, ask to be guided. Literally, you know, make it a focus. You know, live in that prayer. And you know, and this isn't for, you know, people whose lives are full of joy. You know, this so much. This is, you know, you're like, why would I do that? That this is for folks who are saying, you know, I these are folks that I want to change, that really are like, gosh, help me. You know, if you've ever had that prayer, you've gone to bed at night and you've just said, please help me. And so it's hard to say whether we got called to say that prayer or whether that prayer is coming out of our desperation, but it's there. So prayer, it is a tool, you know, it brings us into the moment, you know, being conscious of our old ways and letting them go. When fear comes up, just being conscious of it, say, oh, look, there it is. You know, when desire comes up, oh, look, there it is. You know, desire takes us out of the moment. Desire takes us back to our old ways. So we can just surrender those things, fear, desire, guilt, shame, just surrender them. Just let them go when they come, you know, because the stories, the mind's always making up stories about, with those as the theme, our guilt stories, right? and then we engage and we believe them, and we're in the shit again, you know. So sometimes I get talking, I forget that I'm going to read. There's some reading to do, and then I forget what day it is. But I think it's the 12th. Is it the 12th or the 13th of September? I think it's the 13th. Is it? It is the 13th. My gosh. Here we go. Love you guys. Thanks for dropping in this morning. We're going to, the 13th, this is from this little book called 24-Hour Day Book. 24 hours a day. September 13th, thought for the day. No one, it says, is too discredited, nor has sunk too low to be welcomed cordially into the 12-step world, into AA, NA, CA. Everybody's welcome. That's the beauty of that everybody's welcome. Hello, Amelia. Hi, honey. Nice to see you this morning. Okay. No one is too discredited, nor has sunk too low to be welcomed into the 12-step world, if he or she means business. And the truth is, we welcome folks that don't mean business, but I hear what he's saying. Social distinctions, petty rivalries and jealousies, these are laughed out of continence. These are laughed out of confidence. Hi, Kathy Lynn. Good morning. These are laughed out of continence. Being wrecked in the same vessel, being restored and united under one God, with hearts and minds attuned to the welfare of others. The things which matter so much to some people no longer signify much to us. In the 12-step world, we have true democracy and true community. It says true brotherhood, but true community. Remember, this book was written in 1954, and so some of it's a little dated, but not the theme is not dated. Okay, meditation for the day. When you call on God in prayer to help you overcome weakness, sorrow, pain, discord, and conflict. When you call on God in prayer to help you overcome weakness, sorrow, pain, discord, and comfort, God never fails in some way to answer the appeal. So that's what I was just saying. You know, when you're in need of strength for yourself or for the help of some other person, call on God in prayer. The power you need will come simply, naturally, and forcefully. Okay, great. The print is really small. And some mornings, my eyes are better than others. Isn't that funny? Anyway, I'm a little stubborn around glasses. Heck with it. Pray to God, not only when you need help, but also just to commune with Him. Yeah, that's a fact. The spirit of prayer can alter an atmosphere from one of discord to one of reconciliation. It will raise the quality of thought and words and bring order out of chaos. Oh, amen. That's beautiful. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may bring peace where there is discord. I pray that I may bring conciliation where there is conflict. So cool. So cool. So that's, part of the freedom path, really, is making amends. It is just exactly that, part of the freedom path. It helps to disconnect the places where we're hooked to old stories and old ideas and old beliefs. If we have a husband or an ex-husband that we're still angry with, or an ex, or a past partner, a wife that we're still angry with, And it could be years have gone by and we still have a grudge, or we still have a victim story, you know, to look at that and look at our part and clean it up with a letter, or clean it up with a, you know, with a phone call. You know, talk to your sponsor about that, and talk to a trusted friend about that before you make that call. But some of us love to hold on to those old things, those old family disputes, you know, from God knows how long ago, and say, well, you know, they judged me back then, and so I've never connected with them, you know, and we just hold on to that, and that keeps us in, you know, mind enjoys that because it keeps mind in charge. It does. We want to be free, right? Um, I wish I had my book close. I would read the promises. Tomorrow I'll read the promises. Um, you know, there's so many of them. Freedom's promises in the 12 step. Who wants to be free? Really, who wants to be free? Who wants to live, you know, without without anger, without strong opinion of right and wrong, or good and bad, you know, without judgment. You know, when we judge, who do we judge first and the most harshly? Yes, it seems that, you know, we let the judge live there in our mind, in our, you know, in judging us. So freedom is the goal. It really is. So awakening, freedom is the goal, and it is attainable. It's right there for us all in each moment. It really is right there. You know, just, I'm going to end this today with a little tiny meditation. Just going to suggest that wherever you are, just sit quietly for a second. Just take a breath in. Take another breath in. Be present with the breath. Just be present with the breath. Feel our feet on the floor, if your feet are on the floor. Or just experience yourself in your body. Remember, you're not your body. Your body, your mind are vehicles. Just experience them, be with them for a moment. And we're not in the mind right now, we're just really right here. In whatever room you're in, just feel the room or feel the car. Feel the experience of where you are right now. Recognize that nothing, absolutely nothing is missing. Life is perfect in this very second with this breath. Absolutely perfect. You can go back to your problems in a bit. Be here now. There we go. Isn't that beautiful? You are free. In this moment, we are free right now. It's that simple. No course to take, no philosophy to study. Just be here now. Okay, love you guys. Just want to remind you that tomorrow night, Monday night, we have our meditation, our first meditation in a long, long time. It seems like forever, a lifetime. So here in my home, you're welcome to come if you're in town. We have kind of a limit of 12 people, but there's room right now. I think there's only 3 or 4 coming. So if you'd like to come tomorrow night, just let me know. I'd love it for you to come. And we're also going to be on Facebook Live and YouTube Live and Zoom. I'll post that today, the Zoom list. And you know, if you go to YouTube and join our channel and click the bell for notifications, you can be part of our, you know, of our live YouTube or see every video that comes up as it comes up, because I put these up on YouTube later today. Okay, see you tomorrow night. Thanks you guys for dropping in. Love you lots. Be here now. Use the breath to be here. Use prayer to be here. Be in the body.